The forward observation post was a silent, metallic blister on the asteroid's gray surface. Inside, the human sat before a bank of flickering screens, the only light in the small cabin. His designation was Guardian 17. Out here, on the fringes of claimed space, names were rarely used. He was a sentry, a watchman against the void, paid to monitor the derelict sector for scavengers or anomalous signals. The pay was good, the solitude absolute. For 3 standard cycles, his only company had be the soft hum of the life support and the distant, cold glitter of stars. The sector was a graveyard of a forgotten conflict, littered with the husks of ancient warships, their stories long since ended. It was, by all accounts, a quiet duty. That changed when the proximity alarm chimed, a soft, insistent sound that shattered the silence. On the screen, a vessel resolved from the stellar background. It was organic in design, all flowing curves and deep violet chitin, moving with a silent, predatory grace that marked it as Xylosian. A royal barge. Guardian 17's training took over. His hands moved across the console, sending the standard hails, the universal requests for identification. There was no response. The ship continued its approach, heading directly for the largest wreck, a colossal warship carcass that locals called the Iron Tomb. Protocol was clear. Unidentified Royal-class vessels in a restricted zone were to be reported, but not engaged. His job was to observe and notify command. He sent the priority pulse back to Central and prepared to wait. Then his external sensors picked up the energy spike. From the underbelly of the Xylosian barge, a focused beam of amber light lanced out, not as a weapon, but as a precise cutting tool. It began to carve a section from the Iron Tomb's hull. A section that scans indicated contained a sealed vault dot. This was not a morning visit. This was a retrieval. Guardian 17 made a decision. He was a guard, and this was his sector. He powered up the post's small twin-gun skiff, a vehicle meant for inspections, not combat. It was a moth against the royal barge, but it was all he had. He launched, setting a course to intercept Dot as his skiff closed the distance. A smaller craft detached from the barge, a sleek shuttle that entered the cut opening in the wreck. He adjusted his vector, following it in. The interior of the Iron Tomb was a cathedral of darkness, his skiff's lights cutting through the eternal night, illuminating twisted metal and frozen debris. He found the shuttle settled in a vast chamber, its ramp down. There was no sign of the pilot. He set his skiff down at a careful distance, powered on his environment suit's full systems, and stepped out, a heavy rifle-shaped tool in his hands. His boots magnetized to the deck, each step a firm click in the utter silence. He moved toward the alien shuttle, his light piercing the gloom. Then he saw her. She stood before a sealed vault door, her back to him. She was tall, her form elegant and powerful, clad in a gown that seemed woven from shadows and starlight. An intricate crown of dark, polished biometal rested upon her head. This was no mere noble. This was the queen of the Xylosian hive. He could feel the weight of her presence, a palpable force in the dead air. He raised his tool not to aim, but to be ready. "Halt," he said, his voice transmitted through his external speakers, translated automatically. "This sector is under protective oversight. You are conducting unauthorized salvage." The queen went very still. For a long moment, she did not move. Then, slowly, she turned. Guardian 17 saw her fully. Her features were sharply elegant, her skin a shade of deep amethyst. But it was her eyes, large and luminous, that held him. They were fixed on him with an intensity that was neither anger nor threat. It was something else, something profound and shocking. A tremor passed through her regal form. He stood his ground, his posture defensive but not aggressive. The light from his helmet illuminated his own face behind the clear visor. A human face, weathered by solitude, with lines of patience and calm around the eyes. The Queen took a single hesitant step forward. Her voice, when it came through his translator, was a melody of soft chimes and deep resonance, but it was fractured, unsteady. You speak. You move. But you are a phantom. I am no phantom, Guardian 17 replied, keeping his tone even. I am the Sector Guardian. You must cease your operations and depart. She seemed not to hear the command. Her gaze was scanning his face, lingering on the line of his jaw, the set of his shoulders, the way he held himself. The stance, she whispered, more to herself than to him. The cant of the head when listening. The quiet in the eyes. She took another step closer, now just a few paces away. It is not possible. The universe does not grant such mercies. Guardian 17 felt a deep confusion. This was not a confrontation. It was something he could not define. Your Majesty, he said, using the formal address his database provided. I do not understand. My consort, she said, the words heavy with a grief so old it had become part of her. He was lost. His ship was lost, in a battle near this place, cycles upon cycles ago. I felt his light go out in the hive mind. I have mourned every moment since. She lifted a slender hand, gesturing not at him, but at the vault door. I come here, when the pain is too vast, to retrieve a fragment he left behind. A personal log, sealed in a vault on this, his flagship. It is all I have left of his voice. Guardian 17 slowly lowered his tool. He looked from the grieving Queen to the vault, then back to her. I did not know. But you, she continued, her luminous eyes locked on his. You are human. He was Xylosian. The form is different. The biology is different. And yet, the essence, the pattern of the spirit, if such a thing can be said, it shines from you as it did from him. The calm resolve, the protective stillness, the way you entered this place, not with bluster, but with a duty to protect, even against a queen. Her voice broke. He was my shield. That was his title. And you stand there, a guardian. He was silent, humbled, and unsettled by the raw emotion before him. He was just a man doing a job. He had no memory of a past life, no sense of being anything other than himself. Yet he could not deny the sheer, overwhelming reality of her perception. To her, in this moment, he was a mirror reflecting a soul she thought forever lost. I am not him, he said gently, the words feeling inadequate. I am Guardian 17. I have only my own life, my own memories. I know, the Queen said, and some of the regal composure returned, softened by a bottomless sorrow. I know with my mind that you are a separate being. But my heart, which has been a cavern of silence for so long, sees a familiar star shining. The resemblance is not in your face, but in your frequency. It is a cruel and kind coincidence. She turned back to the vault, entering a complex code. The massive door slid open with a groan of dead mechanisms. Inside was a single crystalline data spire. She collected it with reverent hands, then turned back to him. Will you report my transgression, Guardian? He considered. He had his duty, but he had also witnessed a truth deeper than regulations. The vault was personal. No strategic materials were removed. My logs can show an anomaly that resolved itself. A faint, sad light touched her eyes. It was the ghost of a smile, a judgment both pragmatic and compassionate. He would have done the same? She walked back to her shuttle, pausing at the ramp. She looked at him once more, a long, searching look, as if committing his image to a different part of her memory. The universe is stranger than we know. Perhaps it echoes. Perhaps it returns to us, in fragments, what we have lost, not to replace, but to remind us that the pattern of a noble spirit persists. Thank you, Guardian 17, for your duty and for this moment of peace. She entered her shuttle. The craft lifted silently and retreated, back through the cavernous wreck, toward the waiting barge. Guardian 17 stood alone in the darkness, the light from his helmet cutting a solitary path. He felt the immense weight of the encounter settle upon him. He was unchanged, and yet everything felt different. He had not fought a battle, but he had stood on a frontier far more profound than the one marked by stars. He returned to his skiff and piloted it back to the observation post. On his screen, his Ilosian royal barge powered its engines and slid gracefully back into the starfield. Disappearing into the fold of space, the sector was quiet once more. The derelict ships resumed their eternal watch. Guardian 17 sat before his screens, the silent sentinel. But now the solitude was not empty. It was filled with the echo of a recognition, a testament to the mysterious patterns that might weave through lives and across species, and the unexpected, quiet moments where a simple act of duty can, for a heart in mourning, feel like a gentle and inexplicable benediction. He resumed his watch, a human guard, now forever aware that he carried, quite unknowingly, the shadow of a likeness that could bridge galaxies and soothe an ancient royal grief.